You know what time it is. You know what time it is. It's DJ Cactus time. We're getting them quite a lot in the 2900s, I gotta say. The last one, banger, it was the 2935, which was the universe where everybody was dead and everything. Even SCPs that were impossible to kill were dead. Oh yeah, the best time for DJ. I was like, what's the 2900s, like his magnum opus time. But yes, we have DJ Cactus back in the house. The best of cactuses. Playing on that set. And he's playing the song now called 10,000 Years. Here we go. 10,000 years. Pardon me, that's the sparkling water. Containment class Euclid. Disruption class Vlam. Risk class Warning. I'm quoting this article before starting because I know it's gonna be a banger. A lot of years, that's a lot of years. Special containment procedures. Access to the Lemon Quarry is prohibited to unauthorized personnel and Foundation personnel posing as local law enforcement are to maintain a perimeter around the site. Individuals who breach the perimeter are to be administered a suitable amnestic and turned over to the local authorities. Exploratory missions into SCP-2951 are currently forbidden. And there we have a picture that says collapsed entrance of SCP-2951. Description: SCP-2951 is an abandoned limestone mine near Guthrie, Indiana. Guthrie, Indiana. The mine was originally owned by the B.J. Hoadley Mining Group until an incident that BG, by the way, not BJ. A Hoadley Mining Group until an incident that occurred in 1944. The remote location of the quarry, as well as the deteriorated nature of its structure, have limited civilian trespassing. Due to this, the area is mostly undisturbed. The interior of SCP-2951 is subject to irregular spatial and temporal anomalies. Exploratory teams have also reported the existence of unknown anomalous entities within SCP-2951. These entities are likely connected to the 1944 incident, more information on which is available below. The most of DJ Cactus has been taking place in Indiana because he is from there. You told me this before, yeah, but anybody watching this video who has not known this, no fun fact for y'all. The primary entrance of SCP-2951 collapsed during the 1944 incident and is inaccessible. A secondary shaft located in a dilapidated storage building remains accessible. Okay, and here we have a bunch of addendums. Like, quite a lot. So, Addendum 1, 1944 incident and collapse. And here we also have a whole bunch of things. Okay, this must be like what Howard mentioned before. The following information was gathered from the personal office of J. Howard Barnes, a career administrator. Oh. 2844. Ah, the paperclips machine. Yeah. And Global Cold Coalition from Informant. After his death, the Foundation seized many of his assets, including information regarding the 1944 Lemon Quarry collapse, which was thought to have been destroyed. And here we have a building containing secondary access shaft to SCP-2951. On August 23rd, 1944, seismic activity below the Lemon Quarry prompted the quarry supervisors to send an exploratory team into the limestone mine to assess damages to structures therein. After 3 hours, the initial team returned to report that an important access tunnel had collapsed. After some deliberating, quarry supervisors assembled a larger team of workers to clear the debris. These workers ascended to the collapse point and began to move the fallen stone out of the way in order to bring in larger machinery. However, during this attempt, additional seismic activity occurred, triggering a tunnel collapse behind the crew clearing the access tunnel, which is uncommon in southern Indiana, largely due to the solid limestone foundation and lack of fault lines in the area. Honestly, that must be like one of the, it must be like such a terrifying thing, right? Like you clear a caved-in tunnel And the moment you clear it in, there's another shake, another little quake happening, and now behind you, it's all closed again. Like, yeah, of course, as like someone whose like job is to clear broken in tunnels, it probably is like, okay, it's just another like couple hours of work. But like, like the idea of like that happening to you, and especially if your machinery gets broken through that. Fun fact about these guys is also the manga SCPs. Yeah, that's fair. That's true. For the next several hours, teams worked on both sides of the blockage to remove the debris and free the clearing crew. At approximately 4 PM EST, the blockage was removed and the initial clearing crew emerged from the mine. This crew reported that the primary access tunnel remained blocked, but a new tunnel, one that had not been cut by the mining group and was not charted, had been opened by the second round of seismic activity. Another small team was dispatched to gather information about this tunnel. The second tunnel was described as cut smooth, though not unnaturally so, and descended towards the northwest at a slight decline. Supervisors for the group hypothesized that this was an original access tunnel, potentially one that had been cut near the mine's conception, before it was purchased by BG Hoadley, and simply not properly recorded. Hoping that this access tunnel would connect around the primary blocked tunnel, quarry supervisors gathered around and gathered another team of 23 men. The assignment was to use this secondary tunnel to access the rear of the blockage, assess the structure there, and determine whether the use of explosives was justified to clear the tunnel. Primary access tunnel blockage image taken from Carrier incident logs. Let's actually have a closer look, shall we? And also, both of my grandma's fathers used to work in mines. Really? That's interesting. Did they have good experiences, or was it like what did they ever have to experience like one of the tunnels like breaking down? I'm just looking if there's anything in the darkness. I don't think there is. After this team was sent into the mine, very little else of note is recorded. Sometime afterwards, there was a third round of seismic activity, severe enough to collapse the entrance tunnel into the mine. Over the course of the next 3 days, teams above ground worked to remove the rubble covering the entrance, while supervisors and additional workers attempted to contact the team through a telephone cable line run down the secondary shaft in the maintenance building. On the evening of the third day, just as BG Hoadley administrators were preparing to request assistance from other nearby mining groups, an unknown individual emerged from the secondary shaft. The only note made of this event was the following: a telegraph wire to BG Hoadley offices in Louisville. The 26th, 8th, 1944. Mine abandoned. Tunnels remained collapsed. 23 lost. One of them came up the shaft. We tossed it back down. Wasn't right. GPE. Wasn't it 23 men that came out? Yeah, okay. Interesting. Addendum 2, 1998 incident. Extra addendum. On both of them, used to get stuck for a few hours a couple of times. Got that. Nah, no thanks. On June 4th, 1998, low-level seismic activity was detected south of Site 81. A team of Foundation geologists were dispatched to gather more information relating to the event, but were unable to pinpoint the exact location of the disturbance. Anticipating aftershocks, several seismographs were installed in neighboring towns. On June 16th, a missing person report was filed with local police for Tevin Napier, a 15-year-old student who had disappeared after he and his friends had been trespassing in the abandoned lemon quarry. Teams searched the quarry for any signs of Napier, eventually discovering the now unsealed secondary access shaft beneath the dilapidated maintenance building with the quarry. I would never want to visit an abandoned mine shaft, just because like the idea of like it collapsing on me is too terrifying. A search, because especially if you don't tell anybody you go there. Like you don't tell anybody you go there, it collapses on you. You have no reception, you're just stuck. A search and rescue team was lowered into the shaft, expecting to recover Napier's body. However, initial attempts were Good song. Oh, but I like another version of this more, but this also is a good version of it. However, initial attempts were unsuccessful due to the sheer depth of the shaft, and teams had to be recalled until longer safety equipment could be obtained. At the time, no records of the depth of the shaft were available, and crews were unaware of the original recorded depth of around 120 meters. This was disparate from the estimated depth of the shaft by rescue crews who estimated depths of around 240 meters. Well, how much money would you visit an abandoned mine? Well, visiting is something else. I can just sit outside of it and be like, cool, give me the money. But actually, like, you know, like going in very deep, like if they say like you have to go like a kilometer in deep, and like the first couple of steps I realized like things around me are like doing that, I'd be like, no. Then I would rather not. I mean, at the end, if somebody were to offer me like $1 billion, then I'll just sprint it. Sprint 1 kilometer forward, sprint it back, and be like, and then give me $1 billion, and then I can give it to charity. I can give it to people who need it a lot more than I do. And then I'm like, good, I survived the mine shaft, and I help people out. All the day's work, boys. When rescue crews eventually descended the full length of the access shaft, there was no evidence of Napier's body. However, crews quickly reported agitation and feeling of doubt about the perception of the mine around them. During this expedition, the 5-man rescue crew occasionally reported there being 7 or 8 members of the team, and one member reported that they were in the mine looking for gold. After 43 minutes within the mine, the team stopped responding to radio communications. Above-ground teams quickly began to retract their tether, but found that the more tether was being retracted that it had gone into the mine. Ooh. After retracting 400 meters of tether, the winch was no longer able to do so and was stopped. And here of the secondary access shaft beneath maintenance building. Once again, let's have a quick look if there's anything like fucking hidden. Like there's a very famous creepypasta, not creepypasta, but like, you know, like online horror story about cave diving, and how like they dug like a hole bigger and bigger, and from the other side of the hole, like they start to hear something, some sort of noise. Oh, by the way, I do have a eerie story that one of my grandmas told. That her father did witness one time as they worked deep down in the mine. Oh, for fuck's sake. Are you gonna curse me? Are you gonna curse my stream? Do I have to like get like a cross and a priest to stay overnight? At this point, Foundation crews were alerted to the possibility of anomalous activity at the Lemon Quarry and took control of the rescue efforts under the guise of a federal search and rescue team. Using a more powerful winch system, Foundation personnel were able to retrieve 2 of the 5 men, both of whom were still connected to their tethers. The first man, Abel Parker, became increasingly agitated and violent above ground, convinced he was still within the mine. The second man, Greg Hamilton, was initially thought to be comatose but began speaking unintelligibly after 20 minutes above ground. However, the initial rescue team confirmed that the voice Hamilton was speaking with was not his own, but the voice of Jeremy Livingston, another one of the men in the mine. Both men were sedated and moved to Site 81 for analysis. Ooh. This mine is messing with your body a little bit. Of the 3 other tellers, 2 returned with clean cuts at the end. The third appeared to have been cut with jagged pieces of rocks, and was covered in human blood for 13 meters. Ooh. Hey, shit. After recovering Parker and Hamilton, Foundation personnel quickly moved to administer amnestics to all involved non-Foundation personnel, as well as develop a cover story for the events which occurred within the mine. Site 81 requisitioned an immediate classification for the mine as SCP-2951, which was granted by the Classification Committee on the 18th of June. Damn. And there's more. There's so much more. Addendum 3, Exploration Log. Once again, let's have a close look. Following the event of June 16, 1998, Mobile Task Force Trotter 5 Hell's Heroes was assigned to further analysis of SCP-2951. The assigned goal was to assess the anomalous nature of SCP-2951, as well as search for the additional 3 lost search and rescue crew members and Terran Napier who are still missing, Oh, the kid's still missing. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, they only found like other people in the mine, like people from that they needed, but the kid's still down there. The 4-man team was to enter SCP-2951 through the secondary access shaft and spend no longer than 40 minutes within the mine. And here we have a picture taken by a member of MTF 5. What the fuck is that? Okay. Ugh. Man, mine shaft remind me so much of like ARG style horror stuff, like the not necessarily the back rooms, but like I don't know. It just feels so unnatural, and it is because a mine shaft is not made by nature; it's made by humans. So an abandoned mine shaft feels even more unnatural. Here I go. My grandma told me when I was a kid that her father and my other grandma's father was working deep down in the mine, and one late night, all of a sudden they claimed they saw something unique. It was crawling over the mine and had no features at all. No, it's one of those fucking one of those like weird monsters from the Descent. Begin log. Okay, so we have T51. Looks like we have 4 voices. Mics on. On. Check. On here. Alright. Let's head down. Be careful right here. Don't put your foot on that. It's loose. You guys aren't going to let us loose on our way down, are you? Off Mac laughter. T53 laughs. Your paperwork is to file, I mean. Come on, Kevin, for fuck's sake. Alright. Alright. T5 team descends. Shaft. T54. Note steps as a descent. Upon reaching 120 meters, T51 stops. What's wrong? This is it. What's our depth? 120 meters. That ain't right. Those state guys said this was more than 200 meters deep. Maybe there's a jog just around the bend over there? Maybe descend some more. You think we've seen some hooks around here though, right? From the last guys. Nothing like that. Footprints though, so this is definitely where they were. Turn on your lamps, let's see what's around the corner here. Team detaches from tethers, moves to the corner away from the shaft. Davis, did you start our clock? I did, back when we hit dirt. Good to hear. Let me know every 10 minutes. Yep. Cap, over here. Something on the wall. Tether lines, from where they were rubbing up against the rock. How many are there? Just 2. That's weird. Get some pictures and let's keep going. We don't have a lot of time. Team descends lower into the mine. Extraneous dialogue removed from log. 10 minutes? Huh? What? Feels like it's been longer than that. Clock is working fine. Batteries are all juiced up and everything. Just imagining it. Man, it gets really tight up there. Is an access shaft? Yeah. Supposed to connect with the rest of the mine. But just an emergency exit. We'll have more room to breathe once we reconnect. We're going to need to go single file. I take the head, file in. Team begins to move single file through a section of tunnel. Significant time passes, but little discussion is had between team members. Where are we on the clock? 17 minutes? That's definitely isn't right. Is this a temporal anomaly? By the looks of it. You guys see that? And now there's T5. Okay, where the fuck does the T5 come from? What? Light? But that's the rest of mine. Not much further to go now. I hear something. Probably the wind. No, it's below us. Deep. Might be more seismic activity. That definitely isn't right. Oh, T505 is repeating what they said before. Because, this is what T3 said, and the what is what T2 said up here. Let's get out of this hole then. A cave in here and we're toast. Team moves quickly towards the light in front of them. Passageway begins to open slightly. Why would there be light down here? Maybe the other rescuers. They had lamps, I think. Yeah, but it's been a few days. They can't be ready for that long. Where are we on the clock? 17 minutes? Fuck. This isn't right. How much further? No, it's below us. Deep. Yeah, maybe another 20 minutes. 20 meters. Move your asses, boys. I feel funny. If you're gonna throw up, keep it back. Shut up, man. Where are we at? 10 meters. It's like we're getting pinned in. How much further? Fuck. Where are the lights? Hang on, my lamp is out too. Fuck. Something is moving. It's below us. Deep. Can you all calm the fuck down for 5 seconds? Can't see in the dark, Cap. Now I've got a lighter. Silence. Lighter flickers on. Alright, this tunnel is blocked. Might be from the seismic activity. No, it's settled. It has been here for a while. This tunnel, though. No, this looks pretty clean cut. What do you see down that way? Not much. It just keeps going down. I smell something. Ozone. Yeah, me too. What's our clock at? Something's written on the wall here. I can't make it out. 13 minutes. We've been down here too long. Too long. You want to head back? I'm thinking we need more equipment. Maybe more. Too long. I'm fine with that. I don't want to get down there yet. I'll go first this time. Everybody squeeze in. Too long in the fire. The fire? Where'd that come from? Let's go. Time passes. Extraneous dialogue removed. Thank God I can see again. There's the access shaft. Hang on. Did you say something? No? Who? Shit, what are you? There were only 4 of us, right? There were only 4 of us, right? Jesus fucking. There were only gunshot. Too long in the fire, too long in the fire, too long in the fire, too long. Fucking shoot the goddamn gun down. I don't care who it sounds like. We've been down here for too long. Who the fuck? They're wearing our uniforms. How? That one's smoking. It's on fire. Stand back. Violent combustion. What's it saying? Get the fuck up. Violent combustion. All recording devices call cease function. End lock. That was nice. Let me read what you guys are saying. I live near a hill that has an abandoned tunnel that cuts through it, and I've gone there a couple times with my father. No, thank you. I also used to explore abandoned mines and tunnels with my big sis as a kid. White people behavior. No, following these events, MTF T5 was removed from the access shaft and given a physical and psychological evaluation. T5, 1, 3, and 4 suffered minor laceration and burns as a result of the explosion. T5-2 was moved to Site 81 for his injuries. The 3 unidentified individuals who attacked the members of MTF T5 all wore the exact same uniform and equipment as the other members of the unit, and were confirmed to have exactly mimicked the voices of other team members. This, combined with the low lighting and tight quarters, is believed to have contributed to the team's member inability to distinguish exactly how many individuals were with them at the time. It's also interesting how nobody reacted to the fact that there were like a bunch of voices repeating what they said. In their heads, they thought that somebody was just talking to them and just asking similar questions that they asked before, and they just answered. Psychological evaluation, audio transcript. No. White people, in my case, it's non-human people behavior. Afro, yeah, sorry, pardon me. You're right. The following is an audio transcript from the psychological evaluation of MTF T53. In our analysis of the audio files, we noticed that several times your teammates made note of the anomalous passage of time. Can you confirm this? Yeah, I can. I've been in similar situations, temporal dilation, stuff like that. You start to lose track of time, even when you know a bit is passing by. I don't know how long we were down there, but I think maybe 4 hours? Your recorders were active for 5 hours and 33 minutes, Agent. Time I'm not going to get back. Yeah. How long were we down there up? How long were we down there up here? Okay, gotcha. 19 minutes. Jesus Christ, I take that back then. I haven't ever been in anything like that. Did you feel any adverse effects mentally from this time dilation? Sort of. It's like soup, I think. When you're in one of those, your mind starts to feel kind of thick, right? Things happen, they're not really clear. You can't recall exactly when they happened, even if they just did. Stuff like that. It's disorienting. I see. Did you at any point notice the 3 individuals we recovered before you reached the access shaft? Recover is a strong word. The remains, I mean. I still don't get how they got that stuff. They had the name badges and everything, just with the identification scorched off. That's real strange. Notice them? No. In the dark, you know it was just a single fire. I was looking at Daniel. I mean, I thought it was. But the acoustics were real bad too. I couldn't tell where the sound was coming from. Kept hearing him behind me. I guess it was. I don't know. It's like I said, you know things are happening around you and you react to them, but they all just feel wrong. I see. They never found that kid, did they? He never came out later? No. Ah, shit. What about Davis? Armin? Come on, you know. He still hasn't said anything, Kevin. Opened his mouth a few times and nothing's come out. Doesn't even look at you. God damn it. Do you want an amnestic? I can have something in order for you, or... Nah, if I'm still dreaming about that thing screaming at me with my own voice in a month, I'll let you order it. Imagine if it was my grandma's followers roaming around inside. I mean, then that would be very problematic because they got shot. I think your grandma would have different stories about their fathers if they were like, yeah, no, they got shot by some weird futuristic looking police force, military force. Addendum 4, interview with Gorman P. Ellis. Okay, another interview. Following the event recorded in Addendum 3, Foundation research personnel began to collect data about the Lemon Quarry and the mine there. This proved to be difficult as the original B.G. Hardley company has fallen nearly 40 years prior and all company records were presumed destroyed. Additionally, the potential anomalous nature of Kervian International made accessing their records difficult. It was under investigation for possible group of interest status at the time. However, a recovered contact list within an abandoned B.G. Hardley office in nearby Bedford allowed Foundation investigators to contact a Mr. Gorman P. Ellis, an elderly and retired B.G. Hardley investigator. Mr. Ellis was cooperative when contacted and met with Foundation investigators. It was during this interview that the Foundation personnel were alerted to the information held by Kervia Administrator J. Howard Barnes, which was later collected and assessed as part of the investigation. The following is the audio transcript of an interview conducted by Agent Young with Mr. Ellis. Okay. New voices again. We appreciate you meeting with us, Mr. Ellis. We promise we won't take much of your time. That's fine. That's fine. What can you tell us about your time at B.G. Hardley? Well, I hired in as a day laborer, just like my father had. He was a foreman with the company when I was a boy. So was my uncle, James Ellis. My uncle was an associate of Mr. Hardley and Mr. Hedgewater. 2812. Okay, 2812. Oh, was that the one? Yeah, wasn't that like, yeah, it was the fucking record player that like started like people, everybody who heard it like wanted to escape the town. Both big limestone men back in the 30s and 40s. I worked for Hedgewater for a while at United Limestone and transferred to Hardley just before my father retired, as a foreman myself. Which sides were you assigned to during your time with the company? Well, let's see. There was the Springville side up north and another near Orleans off of 37. Worked both of them for a few years, a fair few years. Then we opened up the big side west of Mitchell and I was there until I retired. Do you know anything about the lemon site in Guthrie? I suppose I do. Did you ever work there? No, can't say I did. That was Ron Pitts, I think. Justin Crane is not somebody I knew all that well. Do you know, actually, now that you mentioned it, I did spend some time at Lemon, just hard to remember. I went with a team of boys to clean up after they shut it down. There was an earthquake, collapsed some of the tunnels, said it wasn't geologically sound. Something wrong. I always thought that was a bit queer, but we don't get earthquakes around here. All that in limestone, you know, dampens the shakes from down south or somewhere else. Did they tell you anything about... wait, did they tell you anything else about that mine? Oh, it was such a long time ago. Now, we just had to move the machinery, a load into the trucks, and move it down south. I don't think I ever spoke to any of the foremen there. They were mostly outside, men at that point anyway, just using holdly equipment. I see. What about the collapse? Were there ever any casualties? I think they lost a few boys, but I can't say for sure. That will happen then, you know. Weren't as careful as they are now, I reckon. Even so, it wasn't something that was talked about much. Our records indicate that BG Holiday sold that mine to Kervia shortly after the collapse. Is there any reason you can think of why they do that? No. Can't say why. You might have bought a few, but usually part of some deal to open up another mine. Kervia wasn't from around here, they were out of state. Not real common for a group like that to buy up a mine, especially one as small as Lemon. I see. Anything else you'd like to add, Mr. Ellis? See, if you can get a hold of the gentleman named, let me think, was it Jim? Jeff? Anyway, Barnes was his last name. He was a bit older than me, so he might have passed away by now, but he was involved in the cleanup, I think. He was headquarters contact with Kervia when I worked for them, and I'd spoken to him a few times. Decent enough fellow, he might be able to tell you a little more. Thank you, sir. You know, I've been thinking. There was something else about that cleanup that seemed so peculiar. We came in with about a dozen guys to get those machines loaded up, but there were another dozen or so there from Kervia who were cleaning up their stuff, and maybe 5 or 6 more elderly men doing the same. Quietest job we ever worked. I don't know if a single one of them said anything to us the entire time we were there. End log. What does that mean? Are these like the creation of the mine? Waiting for them to speak? But Addendum 5. This is quite a long one. Collector personnel corresponds with J. Howard Barnes. So we have Jeremiah. I don't know if you heard yet, but there was an incident at Guthrie Mine. A cave-in triggered by some earthquake. There are 20 or so boys trapped down in there. They're trying to get a team to move the rubble, but it's not going well. Thought you should know, in case you need to call the lawyers. I thought to call out of the office tomorrow. Best, Trent. Jeremiah, a bunch of suits showed up today asking about the cave-in. We don't know if they're lawyers or what, but they kept asking real queer questions. Wanted to listen to their rocks and stuff at the cave-in like they were trying to hear something. You know anything about this? Nate or Bosch? Oh, these are different people. Okay. Mr. Barnes, our organization has recently purchased a ride to the Guthrie Lemon Quarry and are interested in any information you might have about it. A representative of ours will be in your area within the next week, and we would love to speak with you about it. As well as about opportunities within our organization you may be interested in. Yours truly, David P. Withingham, Kervia International. I saw it myself, Jeremiah. I saw something that was like a man crawl out of that hole. It smoked and burned and cried out in another voice. This is the second time, like, that they smoked and burned. It was a thing pulled straight from the pit itself, I have no doubt. That man from Geist. Geist in German means ghost. Said as much himself. That the pillars that support the world will crack and crumble, and the foundation will become loose. What lies below will become accessible, and its might fall upon the meek. I saw it with my own eyes. I know it is true. I still hear its words, Jeremiah. 10,000 years. Screaming like a wild dog, shrieking like it was cornered 10,000 years in the fire. Oh, it's like Addendum 6, collected correspondence from Gorman P. Ellis. Is it hellfire? Is it hellfire? Is this an access and exit from hell itself? Addendum 6. Collected correspondence from Gorman P. Ellis. Last addendum. On April 19, 2003. I gotta crack my neck. The aforementioned Mr. Gorman P. Ellis passed away. Due to his person of interest status, Foundation personnel moved to size his assets for further analysis. The following is a letter believed to be penned by Mr. Ellis to an unknown recipient concerning SB-2951. It was 23 in total. 23 of those poor boys got stuck behind that wall. We could hear them for days, shouting behind those rocks while we sat around on our asses and did nothing. Have you ever been down in the mine during a blackout, Kim? Let me tell you about it. This is something somebody asked me, like, have you ever done that? I'd be like, no. And I don't think I want to know, really. Well, buckle up, I'm gonna tell you about it. I'm like, no, I'm good. You don't need to put the effort into explaining to me. I don't need to know. I do not need to hear this. Let me tell you about it. First, there is a moment of panic when everybody scrambles to figure out what's going on. Then, as things calm down, you try to get your eyes adjusted to the dark around you. But you never get adjusted because there's nothing to see. It's not like dark at night, where you can see stars and the moon or streetlights. There's no light in the mine during a blackout. There's nothing to see down here. And you start to hear things. Some boys will hear voices, or animals, or any number of things that aren't there. Some will wander off and get lost. They won't follow the ropes back up. Some will fall in the shaft, or in the crevice, and you'll never see them again. Then it gets real quiet. I got to see the tunnel that they found before the cave-in. Very queer, Kim. Didn't look dug by tools, not proper. Didn't even have time to string up lights in it to see where it went. I don't know what's down there. Anyway, all I'm saying is, I haven't thought much about hell, but I'm sure think we deserve it. Whatever happens to those boys, as long as they're down there, is our fault. It's our fault for doing nothing. And the dark changes people. So yeah, that confirms a little bit of my suspicion that hell is in this mineshaft, because even he is like, hey, I haven't thought about hell in a long time, but if it does exist, we deserve it. And I'm like, I think you might have found the entrance. My good guy, I think you found it. You don't need to wonder if it exists or not, because you better believe in ghost stories, Miss Turner. You're in one. Yeah, because right now, hell is right there. Right there, waiting for you. No, that was good. That was good. And yeah, as I said before, an abandoned mine shaft is like mine shaft or tunnel is for me personally a creepy idea. I think anything that's abandoned, that's human made, you know, is terrifying to me. So remember, people always walking blindly into caves and mines and enjoy the ride. No, don't do that, because you actually might get yourself injured. From the discussion page, you'll notice a theme in a lot of things I write. The truth is, a lot of my family are from southern Indiana, and a lot of my family have business in and around mines. When you work in a business like that, you hear plenty of stories, and when you hear those stories as a kid, they stick with you, become larger in life even. Yeah, that makes sense. I love how DJ Cactus just like, yeah, this is because like something in my life happened, so I made a story about it. And shout out to my grandma's fathers who working into the mines. I think the shout out is probably very much appreciated, but I'm not sure if they can hear you. I'm unsure if your grandma's fathers knows what Twitch is. It would be interesting if like ghosts find out like, oh, we know what Twitch is, you know, we know how it works. We actually have a ghost version of Twitch in our universe. According to DJ Cactus, the first two images are from an abandoned mine near where he lives. Brave man. Walking into that mine, taking pictures for his arts, for his craft. So yeah, it's kind of. No, it was a good one though. Yeah, we just know DJ Cactus has our back. We know that for sure.